Okay, let me get my mic on and then we'll get started, because I have some good stuff for y'all today. Okay, so if at any point you can't hear me, let me know. But welcome back to BrandU. I'm your coach, Anila Fulton. If you are new here, welcome in. And if you're joining us from last week or the previous week, then welcome back. Today, we're going to get into some really good stuff. But, you know, I always start with giving you an overview of what our schedule is. So this week, we are back on schedule. So this week, we'll be going over business foundations today, which is Monday. Tomorrow, we'll be doing content. Wednesday, we'll be doing offers and sales. Thursday is marketing and branding. And Friday, we will have our very first Q&A. I hadn't done them in like 2 weeks. Well, for the first 2 weeks, I hadn't done them because no one sent me questions. But that's okay. If you have questions, email me at so you have it. This week we're covering, and obviously today's foundations. This week we're going to be covering positioning for premium and why clients decide before they even ask your price. Okay, so that is what we'll be going over today. So if you are a service provider, this is our night school for service providers. So if you're a hairstylist, esthetician, personal trainer, photographer, if you offer plumber, electrician, HVAC, whatever, if you offer a service to a client and you bring leads into your business to purchase your service, this is for you. Okay, so welcome in. We're about to go ahead and get started. So as you know, I have my notes right here, so I'm going to reference those throughout the night to keep me on track, because I will get off track very quickly. But this week, like I said, we're going to talk about positioning for premium. And this doesn't mean just like raising your prices randomly. And not, when I say premium, people think luxury, right? That doesn't mean that you're pretending to be a luxury service. If you're not a luxury service, that's totally fine. That's not the positioning that you chose. But we want to understand why some service providers are the obvious choice in their industry. Why do people choose them? Buyer psychology. Why do people choose certain service providers over others, even when it's a saturated market, right? Because there are so many different hairstylists and so many different people in every industry, because everybody, you know, is following their dreams nowadays, right? So many people doing a lot of the same stuff, right? So why do some people get chosen over others? So that's what we're going to figure out today, so that we can kind of apply that back to your business, right? So last week, we talked about our ideal clients. We went over content, we went over so much under that area. But if, like we talked about, if you don't know who you served, or you can't position if you don't know who you serve or why it matters, and you can't clearly explain that to an audience, then you can't position yourself at a premium level. It's going to be a lot harder to position yourself at a premium level if you don't even know who you serve. That's literally the foundation of it. And I know last week I said, oh, this might sound boring, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't use that part of the business. And we should be. We should be using that, because it's so important as we grow and as we scale, right? And it's impossible to charge a premium price at a high level when you're talking to everyone. There is so much more competition when you talk to everyone. You aren't niche down at all. You're not niche down at all. When we talk to everyone, we don't have a niche. That means our competition is more. The more we narrow it down, the less people we have to compete with, right? What makes you different? So we got our who, positioning, and our price. If our who is unclear, right, then the positioning is going to be weak. And if the positioning is weak, the price is going to feel a lot higher, than if your positioning was strong, okay? And as business owners, we often think that we already know what the customer wants, but what we think they want and what they actually want, most of the time is not the same thing, right? Like what they actually value from us and what we think they need from us is not usually the same thing. And then we sit back and we wonder why nobody's buying. But it's because we never sat back and we never questioned ourselves to see what the customer, we never even asked the customer, what do they want? We didn't do our market research. We didn't see what the customer wanted before we just started putting out offers and selling things to them that they didn't even want in the first place. And I know a lot of us are like, oh, they need it. They just don't know they need it yet. Did they say they need it? Because if they didn't say they need it, we'll see. But tonight we're going to look at everything from a client's perspective, because a premium price is not about what you think your service is worth, but it's about what your client perceives it to be worth, okay? So if you are new here, don't forget that our workbook for BrandU, and I totally forgot to grab it, but let me grab it for us. Our workbook for BrandU is our service-based business survival guide. Here it is. It literally goes through everything that we talk about. It's going to help you through the foundational pieces of your business so that you are ready to grow and scale. It has literally like templates and charts and everything in here to really put you in that mindset to grow and scale, but with that foundation. Okay? We have to have that foundation. So this is what we have here. If you want to grab it, DM me the word ebook and I'll literally like send you a link to grab it. It's only $10. And if you DM me the word community, I'll add you into our community. We do have our monthly community calls the last Monday of each month. So the last week of the month, obviously BrandU is pushed back a little bit. We'll do Monday on Tuesday, Tuesday on Wednesday, Wednesday on Thursday, Thursday on Friday, and no Q&A that week like we did last week. Yeah, that's what I got for y'all today. So let's just dive right in, because I want to talk about what makes a service feel premium. And actually I have it right here on our whiteboard. Everyone should be able to see this. I know one day last week I had it like cropped down so bad and nobody could see the whiteboard. But if you see it now, you can take notes. So what makes the service feel premium, right? We have clarity, confidence, being specific, experience, and the result, right? Now, premium does not mean expensive. I do not want you guys to get that confused. When a service feels premium, that does not mean you charge the highest price. It feels premium because it feels safe. It feels like the safest option for me to go to, right? Because I understand this business. They have their target audience. They know their ideal client. They know the service they're offering. They have their offers lined up. Everything we talked about last week makes sense for this business. And they feel like the safest option and the less risky option, right? For the client. We talked about last week, clients don't make decisions. They hesitate when it feels like a risk or there's no clear outcome. A premium service takes away the risk. They have a clear outcome. So, from a customer perspective, right? When someone pays more, they're paying for certainty, and then they're also paying for convenience, right? So if it feels convenience and it feels certain, then you know, they're going to pay you. They're paying for less confusion. They're paying to eliminate the risk. And they're paying for less emotional distress in that decision-making process. If it's hard for them to make the decision, if they have to DM you back and forth, instead of just going on your booking site and seeing the availability you have, being able to fill that form out, pay the deposit, getting the automated message. This is what I mean when I say we need to have our systems and our processes in place. And obviously I talk about this a lot on my social media page. I'm sorry I keep rocking side to side. Okay. I just can't stop moving, can I? But I talk about this a lot on my social media page, and we want to have all these things in place. And you know, like I said, we'll go over these things, but we want to have all these things in place, right? We want to have these things in place so we eliminate the risk. We eliminate the uncertainty, the confusion, all the things, right? So let me give you an example, right, of what that looks like. Okay, cool. Let me give you two examples of what that looks like. So there are two estheticians. One esthetician says that I offer customized facials. Cool. The other esthetician says, I specialize in acne correction for women over 25 using a 12-week treatment protocol designed to clear their hormonal breakouts, right? The first one, well, let me ask you this. Which one feels premium to you? The first one or the second one? Which one clearly explains the who, the why it matters, and the result? And it's measurable. The first one or the second one? I'll say it one more time. The first one says I offer customized facials. The second one says I specialize in acne correction for women over 25 using a 12-week treatment protocol designed to clear hormonal breakouts. Which one feels premium? I want you to tell me in the chat. Now, I want you to know something about the second one. The second esthetician doesn't necessarily charge more yet, but the second one feels safer. It feels like they're an expert in their field. That's what I mean by premium positioning, right? Their positioning is clear. It feels premium. It feels top notch. Not so much how much they charge, but it just felt a little bit more professional than the first one, right? Now, let's talk about pricing as a perception game, okay? Because we're going to talk about perception, value, and price, right? We're going to talk about pricing as a perception because people don't look at your price first. They look at your perceived value first. When they come to your social media page, your price isn't sitting there in their face. They're seeing your content. They're seeing your bio. They're seeing your digital resume, as I like to call it. That's what we called it in week 1, our digital resume. They're seeing your digital resume. They're seeing, is your business put together? Does it look professional? Does it look safe? Does it look risky? Am I going to get my car broken into when I come to get serviced by you? Like, you know, all these things. Like, does it look put together, right? We want to think about those things. They don't look at your price first. And if your positioning is unclear, your pricing feels a little bit higher, right? If the positioning is clear, the price is justified. Like, okay, let's say that I was even just talking to my friend and a photographer was charging her $200 for 30 minutes. And I was like, well, that is a little bit expensive. A lot of photographers charge $150 an hour. But you know what? Like, let me look into it a little bit more. And she didn't have a booking site. She was doing everything through text messages, the add-on and everything. And my friend said, well, maybe it's because of the 24-hour turnaround. Most photographers have a 1 to 2 week turnaround. I said, well, yes, 24-hour turnaround, because she's giving you all of your raw photos. You only get 4 edits, right? Does that make sense? You get 4 edits, right? And I was like, it doesn't take long to do 4 edits. And it takes about 30 seconds to send you all your raw photos. And I know because I have a camera and, you know, I upload stuff all the time. So I'm saying that to say that the price just felt a little bit too high because the positioning was unclear. It just didn't feel safe. It didn't feel like the safest option, right? But let's say that she was charging $200 for 30 minutes and she had her booking site. Everything was automated. It was still a 24-hour turnaround because I'm not knocking that. That's amazing. 24-hour turnaround. And I still got, 4 edits. Okay, that makes all the difference because it feels put together. Okay, her social media feels put together. Everything just makes a little bit more sense when your positioning is premium, right? Does that make sense to y'all? If that makes sense, let me know. If it doesn't make sense, also let me know. Anyways, I'm sorry, not anyways, but that can wait. The thing about premium brands, they don't over explain themselves. You remember how I just bit my jaw. Last week we talked about hold on. Last week we talked about being able to explain our offer and our positioning in one sentence. We should who we serve, what the result is, and why it matters. We should be able to say that in one sentence. Positioning yourself as premium means you're not over explaining yourself. You're able to say it in one sentence and the audience is going to understand what you're saying. Like, you're not going to defend your pricing because everything that you do has already defended it. Your value, the value that you bring to the table has already defended the pricing that you chose. Now, if your value doesn't defend your pricing, then obviously you haven't positioned yourself as premium. We want to position ourselves as premium. when you're confident in your price, then that's going to position you as premium. You have to be confident enough in your price. Let me ask you this. Are you sold? And actually I have a book over here about this. It's called Sell or Be Sold. You have to be sold on your own product or service before you go and sell it to somebody else. Would you pay whatever you charge for your service? And why? Justify it to yourself. How you think about it from a client perspective is how a client thinks about it. Are you sold on you? If you're sold on you, then you'll, one, be able to sell it easier, and two, your clients will be more receptive to it, right? Because if you're sold on you, then you're going to be confident in what you're selling. If you're confident in what you're selling, then you're going to show up into rooms like you're supposed to be there, right? Okay. And if you sound unsure, if you're not confident, then the price feels a little bit risky for the client. Or if you sound, if you just sound unsure, then it's going to feel a little bit more risky. But the more confident you are, and obviously you aren't going to be as confident at first. It's hard to be confident as a business owner, but you have to grow into that confidence. And the more confident that you are in what you're selling, when you're fully sold on your service, then your clients will be sold too. Because your social media is going to show that you're sold. You're going to show up. You're just going to show up different for your business. But the moment that you don't show up, somebody else is going to show up. The opportunity doesn't disappear. It just goes to the next person. So if they don't choose you, they're just going to choose somebody else. So you should just show up. Just show up for your business, no matter how you're feeling about it. But this is just buyer psychology. That's what we're covering right now. Buyer psychology. Why people buy. People buy when it's clear, you're confident, when you're specific, when you have experience, and you can show them results. That is buyer psychology, and that's what makes a service feel premium, and people buy when the service feels premium. Okay? So, let's go into what separates you in a competitive market. And I want to cover this right here, because being different doesn't mean being better, but being different means being specific. And let me kind of explain what that means. You don't win in competitive markets by trying to be the best, right? You win by being very specific with what you're offering, with who you're talking to, with your content. You want to niche down, okay? Like, for example, 2 personal trainers, right? Same thing I did earlier with the 2 estheticians. We'll do 2 personal trainers. There are 2 personal trainers. Personal trainer number 1 says that they help people get in shape. Personal trainer number 2 says, I help executives lose 15 pounds without sacrificing their work performance. Okay. Now, trainer number 2. We know who that's for. We know it's for busy executives. Now the competition shrinks. How many people do you know that are targeting busy executives, right? So our competition shrinks. And when you position yourself specifically, you stop competing on price. And you start competing on how premium your service feels, right? But you want to position yourself to be able to do that. Premium positioning requires you to do 3 things. And let me see if I put that up here on the board. A clear audience, a clear transformation, clear philosophy, right? If someone cannot immediately tell you who you're for, what change you create, and what makes your approach unique, you're positioned as basic. You're not premium yet, right? Somebody should be able to tell you those 3 things. Same thing I talked about last week and the week before. Who you serve, the result, and why it matters. If they can't tell you those 3 things, you're not premium yet, and that's okay. That's why we're here. We're going to get there. We're going to get you there. Basic positioning attracts price shoppers. They want to know how much it costs. But when you have premium positioning, you attract decision makers. It doesn't matter how much you charge now. Now they want to see how much value that you're giving them because because you positioned yourself as premium. So remember, premium is not about the money. It's about how we position ourselves in, like I said last week, a conversation that is already happening in a market that is already flowing. How do we step into that conversation and position ourselves to be here instead of here, right? And last week we talked about our ideal client content and offers. We covered that. Where are we at? 19 minutes? Okay, cool. We're good. Last week we talked about ideal client content offers, and we didn't talk. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just those 3 things. We just talked about that last week. If your ideal client is not clear, then your positioning can't be premium, because this week we're talking about positioning. Because if you don't know who you're talking to, how in the heck are you going to make a premium offer or premium content if we haven't even niched down to know who we're talking to? Also, y'all, my hair is real cute. If y'all, I'm going to tell y'all about the girl that did my hair later. But anyways, we'll talk about it, because like, I just keep looking at it right here and I'm just trying to find the lace, but we'll get back to that. So yeah, last week we talked about ideal client content offers. Y'all see how easy I get distracted? It's okay. We're working on it. But if your ideal client is unclear, your positioning can't be premium, right? And if your content speaks to everyone, you're going to attract everyone, right? Everyone does not pay premium prices. Now, like I said before, premium is not about the price, but everybody doesn't pay premium prices. Let that sink in and see if that makes sense for you. And last thing, if your offer is vague, then your positioning, it's just going to feel very generic. It's just going to feel like you're just, same thing as your ideal client. It's just going to feel vague, like you're speaking to everybody. So premium positioning is not how much you charge. It's not your logo. It's not any of those things. It's just having some type of brand consistency across your entire business. Okay? Now, I want y'all to know that change is going to be uncomfortable. And being able to position yourself as premium is going to cause you to do some things that you haven't done in your business before. But I want you to know that the top people in your industry, they embrace change, because they understand that it takes that change, that growth requires change, right? In order to grow, we must change. We must step out of our comfort zone and do some things that make us a little bit uncomfortable. And you're going to have to do that to grow your business and your personal life. But right now we're talking about our businesses. And the number one reason that business owners resist premium positioning is because of fear. Like fear of losing clients. Like, oh, if I change this in my business, my clients that I have right now might leave. And I kid you not. When I was personal training, I had the same thoughts. I was like, okay, if I do this, my clients might, if I start recording my sessions, my clients might not want to be on camera. Or if I cut off my evenings and just move to mornings, my clients might leave in the evening. But no, none of that happened. They love being on camera. The people from the evenings, they move to mornings. Things have to change in your business to require, in order for you to grow, right? People have a fear of charging more. No. Because if people see the value in your business, it's okay to charge a little bit more. Or the fear of specializing. They're like, oh, my clients really love this. No. Once you specialize in one thing, you'll get more clients. But it takes you to step out of your comfort zone to be able to do it. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens gradually, right? Or the fear of hiring help. People don't think they can duplicate themselves. You can. But you have to be in the mindset to do it, to be able to train. And you're like, oh, well, while I'm training someone, I could have been done did it myself. No. Because if you train them up now, you can take 2 clients instead of 1 at a time, right? Or the fear of just not being good enough. Now, I want you to know that fear blocks your opportunity. Fear blocks your opportunity. And as small business owners, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to either sacrifice our time or sacrifice our money. Okay? You're going to do one of 2 things. Sacrifice your time or your money. And if you have time but no money, you feel stuck. But if you have money but no time, you can hire someone. And hiring is scary, I know that. But trusting someone else with your clients, that's also scary. And I say that to say that scaling requires some systems. Okay? It requires some systems. Seeing yourself as premium is going to require some systems. But you can't scale if your business is all over the place. And that's why I keep telling you that those ideal client worksheets that we do and the niching down and all of that matters more than you think. And a lot of people skip it. You know how many small businesses shut down every year? A lot of people skip it. This is $10 and it's going to give you everything that you need. And you're going to have the community to grow with. But this is the starting step. Premium businesses are able to scale because they have solid foundations, they have solid systems, automations, marketing structure, and it allows them to replicate themselves because they don't have to be there to do everything. They don't have to send manual emails because the emails are sending after the appointment is over. But it all starts with deciding that you want more for yourself and your business. Once you can decide that, and once you decide that you're going to be confident and that you're going to be more specific and that you're going to present yourself to be premium. We're going to keep going back to this word premium. We're going to be talking about premium all week. We're going to position ourselves for premium this week. We're going to do it through our content, through our marketing, through our offers, through everything. But today we're going over the foundations, and this is why you should do it. This is why people buy. People choose specific businesses because they feel premium, because they're trusted, because they eliminate the risk, because they do all the things. And that decision is rooted in belief. You have to decide that you want more. If you don't believe you can build a premium business, then you will unconsciously price yourself, undervalue yourself smaller than you should be. Right? You'll speak small, you'll position yourself small. Everything will just be less than what you're capable of. God gave you a gift, right? He gave you a gift and you should step into that. So you should step into that fully and you should trust him with every step. Ask yourself honestly, and this just goes to what we say when we talk to ourselves, but I want you to ask yourself honestly, what if it works out? Because I know we get imposter syndrome and we sit back and we fold our hands and we say, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this at all. Maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be. But I want you to ask yourself, what if it works out better than you imagine? What if? Right? I want you to write down, and this is what helps me make risky decisions. I want you to ask yourself right now, if you want to scale your business or you want to position yourself as premium, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions based off of your goal. I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. If I do this, what is the best thing that can happen? And what is the worst thing that can happen? If the best thing that can happen outweighs the worst thing that can happen, then go for it. If the best thing that can happen is that you make $1 million next year, and if the worst thing that can happen is you stay right where you are, go for it. Position yourself as premium. Position your content as premium. Elevate your business, okay? Because premium position is going to start with our foundations. It's going to start with your foundations. Inside the service-based business survival guide, I walk you step by step through your ideal client, your offer structure, your branding, your landing page. I don't know, everything, literally. Everything you need in the beginning is here. And I walk you through my story about how I did it as well. So you'll have examples to go by. You'll have templates to fill out. You'll have all of these things. And it'll allow you to be able to explain your offer in 1 sentence, explain who you talk to in 1 sentence. All of the things that you need is right here. And I want you to stop guessing. It's literally $10. And you can DM me the word ebook, or, you can go click the link in my bio and just go ahead and grab it. Because why not? You have to think about those risks. I don't feel like $10 is much of a risk because I want it to be accessible for everyone. But you have to think about, what if that is the next step that you need to take to get to where you want to be, or the first step you need to take to position yourself as premium. Sometimes I think about my goals like 5 to 10 years down the line, because long-term thinking is important. And when I think about those goals, I write them down and then I write an action plan to get there. I want you to start thinking like that in your business. Like, start writing down your goals and writing down action plans to get to where you want to be. Okay? But if you want to join the community, or if you want the ebook, DM me the word ebook. If you want the ebook, DM me the word community. If you want to just join the community, just to be a part. But this ebook is $10. It gives you structure. It's going to help you on that step to just positioning yourself as premium. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about content that supports premium positioning. So I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if this shift is something for you tonight. If this shift is something for you tonight, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. And if you have questions for Friday's Q&A, I'm going to do my best to get to all of them. It'll only be about 30 minutes because it's a Friday night and I don't want to hold y'all long. But you can email me at BrandU@anilafulton.com. I hope you can see that. Yeah, if you want to take notes, it'll be here. If you missed last week or the week before, all the recordings are on YouTube. Go to my YouTube, you can subscribe, or you can just look at it if you want to, but I would love if you subscribed. It's only a clickable button, and I'll be posting these every single week for y'all. So yeah, also our announcements, our next content club enrollment is opening on the 9th. So if you want to learn to position your content as premium, I am doing a beginning of the year special for our first cohort, and I'm only taking a few people. So if you want to apply, you can DM me to get more information, and I'll send you more information about the content club and what that looks like as far as growing your business. Because social media is going to be the forefront of what people see. You have to be on social media if you're running a business nowadays and you want to really grow it and scale it and position yourself as premium, because that's going to be your digital resume. So tomorrow we'll be covering content. The next day we'll be covering offers and sales. And the next day we'll be covering marketing and branding. And then we'll finish the week out with a Q&A. But like I said, positioning ourselves for premium is our topic for the week. That's what we'll be covering. And I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. If you had a great time tonight or if you learned something, drop a one in the chat. I really want to see that y'all are here. Drop a one in the chat. If you want to grab the ebook, send me a message and I'll send it over to you. But I think that is all I have for y'all. Thanks for joining me for BrandU, our night school for service-based businesses. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Bye, guys. And night out.